That's really good. And challenge yourself to engage and turn this into a meaningful conversation where you're both seen and expressing the affection and appreciation for each other. If you do it, you're going to get that back. I really, truly believe that you're going to get it back. And it's essential for both parties to feel valued and supported and loved within the relationship. And I know you can get that back. It's going to take work. Just like your business, it's going to take work on both of your ends.
No. Ooh, that's better, right, babe?
Yeah!
Yeah. She founded an architectural concrete company.
He founded a $100 million clothing company.
She took the world by storm as a social media star.
He took the world by storm as a famous serial entrepreneur.
Together we started a business.
And had babies.
Now we're figuring out the best ways to do both.
Join us as we learn from other entrepreneurs going through the same life struggles.
As they share their life hacks about success, love, kids.
And everything in between.
Real men reject passivity, accept responsibility, and lead courageously. A good husband makes a good wife. Quote by John Florio.
Welcome to the Pretty and Punk Podcast. My name is Dan Caldwell, and I'm here with my co-host and beautiful wife,
Ildiko Ferenczi.
And we have another great podcast for you guys today. Sorry to step over you, babe.
Okay.
I'm just so we have another great podcast. We constantly get these emails or
and messages
here and
DMs.
there. We get emails about people, going through the same issues that we're speaking about on the show, and sometimes we just up until now we've just been answering them here and there where we felt like we could give them a little bit of feedback, but. With this letter, this email that we got this week, we decided we actually wanted to see if we could address it on the podcast. So we thought that might be interesting.
Yeah, perhaps it could give someone out there going through the same type of thing some value, some ideas, and just a community to lean into.
And if the person who wrote the email is listening, they'll hopefully get something out of it too. So we're going to address that as soon as we come back from... Hey guys, we hope you're enjoying today's episode of the Pretty and Punk Podcast. And if you are, and you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, it just takes a second. It means so much to us because it really helps the podcast get out there to more listeners like you guys. And if you know anybody it might help and you can send it to them, we really appreciate that too.
We also love and appreciate your reviews. Even the babies look forward to them every day. If you share this episode on social media today, don't forget to tag us. We want to celebrate you because we know it's not easy being a parent in business, and the way that you juggle things makes you a superhero. That's worth a shout out. Together, we have a community of our personal followers as well, and we just want to put it out there. We want to show everybody that this juggle is possible, and you are our family, and we're so proud and grateful to have you a part of this family. So don't forget, all the links are below in the show notes, and thank you again, and let's get back to the show.
Dear Dan and Ildiko, I hope this message finds you both well. My name is John. I'm a listener of the Pretty and Punk Podcast. I want to thank you both for the work you do. I really enjoy your podcast, mainly because I feel like my family is going through many of the challenges that you speak about on the podcast. Today, I'm reaching out to share a personal challenge that I believe many of your listeners might resonate with. My wife and I find ourselves at a crossroads, grappling with the balance between my commitment to our business and our life at home. Despite the love and respect we have for each other, there's a growing tension that I find hard to navigate. My wife often expresses her frustration about the hours I dedicate to our business. She perceives my long days and occasional weekends as time stolen from our family, leaving her feeling overlooked and the home neglected. While I understand her concerns, I feel this constant strain of complaints is creating a barrier between us and not allowing us to appreciate the life we're building together. I know a lot of people go through this stuff.
Yeah.
It's this isn't the first time we heard this either. When I return home, eager to shed the weight of the day and spend some time together with my family, I often am met with a barrage of grievances, from feeling that I'm not contributing enough at home, around the house, to a sense of disconnection between us. These complaints have become a reoccurring theme that I find myself ill-equipped to address without creating more arguments between us. How can couples like us navigate through these waters? Your insights and advice would be invaluable to us. I look forward to potentially hearing your thoughts on this matter in a future episode. Thank you, and feel free to use this email if you want. Thank you, John. You think that's his real name?
I don't know. I'm not laughing. I'm not judging. I
think there's a lot to unpack here. I mean, here's the thing, is that, first of all, they must have, it sounds like they probably have kids, but he didn't mention that they have kids here. And
well, they must have kids if they're listening to the podcast. But what made me, I think, feel a little sad, and they're probably listening, or he's probably listening, but I just think some of that language made me a little sad with the barrage of grievances and complaints, and I can see how he addresses that the home is neglected and she's feeling overlooked. But I really wish that, and we before each podcast, we always pray that we can touch someone and bring someone closer together. And it just saddens me that some of the words in there are negative in a way where it could be pulling him to, I know he's struggling. Obviously he's struggling because he's working long hours. But at the same time, he hasn't mentioned anything about, I know that men need respect. They need appreciation. But there's not one mention of all the things that she does.
that she's going through.
Is she, and I wish I could ask these questions, is she a first-time mother? Is she going through postpartum? Does she have more than one child? This is a lot of work on her shoulders. I know obviously he's working from morning to night. He's taking away some of the weekends, and they're not working together. So it's not this team thing. He's going out, he's doing the footwork, and she's at home doing the footwork.
I think that's, the first two things I would address is, one, I feel like the two problems we're having is, one, it doesn't feel like they're on a shared path together.
Well, the communication doesn't feel strong for sure.
And two, the communication. That's second.
Flawed.
Is that there's some missing. There's some. One, men don't respond well to criticism, so we're not like when we hear that, especially coming home from a day like a long day where you've been putting out fires all day long at a business. And you're putting out fires all day long, and then you have somebody coming at you when you get home.
Right.
You're hoping to come home to this home.
Right. But is she in a state of overstimulation?
Oh, for sure. I'm not saying it's all her fault. I'm not saying this is all her fault at all.
No, and I'm not saying it's his fault.
I'm just saying
to see both sides.
That's what he's going through. And that's the problem here, is that each side has to step into each other's shoes,
pain point,
and go, what are they going through every day?
Exactly.
And I think that they would see, and I'm just talking to you, John. I hope that's your name, John. I'm speaking to you, is that, like, the first thing that you have to do is step into your wife's shoes and go, what is she going through every day?
Right.
Because I know you're going through a lot. I'm sure you are. I'm sure, I don't know where your business is or how many employees you have or what you're dealing with. But no business, whether you have one employee or no employees or 300 employees, is easy.
Right.
You're constantly putting out fires.
But right. And they need that honest communication without judgment. Because I feel I think he's in a point where he's got some resentment going on because of the words that he chose to write in the email. And maybe he doesn't see it as negative, but he's already judging, and we cannot judge. When we communicate, we cannot judge or have defensiveness. We cannot have those emotions behind it. We really have to Is she feeling lonely? Is she feeling overwhelmed? Are things, especially if she just had a baby and she's a first-time mom, it's hard to delegate. Do you nurse the baby? Or I don't even know if she's nursing or she's bottle feeding. There's just so much that goes behind it. And now he's trying to get his business booming, obviously, because he has to be the breadwinner of the family. She's has these children that she needs to take care of as a stay-at-home mom. We have to have compassion for both sides. Both sides are working very hard, and both sides aren't being seen, I feel.
100%. It's a communication problem. Both sides are not seeing each other's point of view. They're not wanting to, because they're guys, marriage is not easy.
No.
This is not easy to do. Believe me, it's why 50% of marriages end in divorce, and probably even higher for entrepreneurs. But the thing is that you have to just believe that you want to build something great. If you go into this believing that you guys are going to build something great together, then you guys will get through this. Right. And if you learn to step into each other's shoes and understand what the other person is going through, you'll learn how to deal with them better. There's a way that I think, for men, when we spend the whole day at work putting out fires and at the office, and we're dealing with this and conversations, and we're dead tired when we come home, and we finally get home, and we do get hit with a barrage of those,
that's
why
so
are you doing this? Or
say.
What about this?
Yeah.
It's hard for a man because it feels like disrespect is what it feels like.
Right. But then at the same time, you have to look at it in a different lens. You have to put on the other glasses where you see that she's overstimulated, that she's not coming at you like that. You're the leader of the house. You're the man. You're that big, strong body that she can lean into, that maybe she needs to break down. I'm not that kind of person, but I do have a lot of female friends that, they'll be they'll be really upset, and they don't know these emotions that are going on, and they need this fathering where they can, baby, I got you. And they just start stroking her hair, and she'll fall apart. I was brought up by a single mom, so I never saw my mom have that delicate feminine side. So I'm very strong, and I sometimes fight like, can I ever do that? Will I ever do that? But I think a female should be able to do that. God created a man to be the leader, to be the strength in the house. And sometimes you're going to, just like this one gentleman, he said it so well. He said he used to fight with his wife until when he had a daughter. And his daughter was 2 years old, and she was having a hard time navigating her emotions, and she was having the temper tantrums. And he said, I'm going to go at this in a different way. I'm going to father my wife. I'm going to let her lean into me like my daughter. And suddenly everything changed, and that was exactly what she needed. And I don't know exactly what's going on in this relationship, but sometimes as a man, you need to be very tactical, and you need to try all angles.
Yeah,
maybe she needs to break down in your
honestly,
arms.
your wife is probably emotional, and she's dealing with those emotions.
If she's complaining, there's something.
And she's dealing with something that she's dealing with. Now, when you come home, you're expecting to get this respect, and sometimes you have to understand that when that doesn't, it's just like dealing with problems that you're at the office.
Put out that fire, and then
you want to win. Okay, you want to win this situation. So here's how you win. It's not by arguing.
No,
you're never going to win like that.
No,
she's going to say her part. You're going to say your part. You guys are going to end up in a constant argument that does.
And what are you trying to win? There's no. If you win, that is the. What did they say? That is the worst thing that you could do, because you're going to win against your partner who you're supposed to be a teammate with.
Well, that's why you want to win by win. What I mean by winning is you want to win together.
Yes.
You want to win the war, not the battle.
Exactly.
You want to win the war. And how you win that war is by putting yourself in her shoes when you come home. Understanding that, hey, Yes. Do you want someone to feel sorry for you? That's what you're feeling right now. You want to come home and you want your wife to feel sorry for you for the long day that you have. But that's not always going to happen.
No.
Okay?
There's a lot of
it
things.
can be reciprocal. If you do the work in being the person to take that first step, if you come home, you grab your wife's hand and you go, "What can I do to help you?" Even though she's coming at you.
I love you. I'm here. I'm here to
what
listen.
can I do to help you? I love you. I'm sorry. I've had a long day, but I want to help you. I'm here now. What can I do to help you? And I promise you it'll change the whole mood in the house.
Well, not even, I don't even know if I would say sorry, but just help her feel she's a woman, and she has no one to lean into. You have all these workmates at work, colleagues.
Maybe. It might be a sole proprietor.
It could be. You're right. But sometimes, at least you get to go out into the real world, and all she's had was
little humans.
Human conversations all day. And sometimes when you're feeling emotional, I know you can have adult feelings at work, but when you have little eyes on you all day, you don't even get to go to the bathroom by yourself, and you cannot have any emotions. You can't even have a shower by yourself without, I know for me, I can't go to the bathroom by myself. As soon as I have what happened to me the other day when I had a bath, I had Daniel and Destiny come in, and then you're in there. Everybody's in there. Having my
Gotta
bath.
go see Mom.
I have a shower. I've got four little eyes looking at me having a shower. So if I'm feeling emotional, and I remember this when my mom passed away, sometimes I would have to say, listen, I need to cry. If you want to cry with me, then let's all cry together. But there's a lot of times as mothers that we have masks on all day long, and we don't let the little things faze us, and those little things add up and add up and add up. I'm not saying that men don't have that, but I'm just saying we both go through things as mothers and as fathers. But just remember that on the drive home, even at work, when you go to the bathroom, you can let it out for a minute.
Yeah.
But we can't do that
not in front of the kids.
Kids. Because we're treating that.
Well, I think men deal with it different. Because in those types of situations, so like when they're at the office, you're dealing with a lot of stresses, but we handle it. We just handle it, and we go through those things, and we don't deal with it in the same way. But when women are going through that at home, and they're, like you said, they're not sometimes around full-grown people, adults, for a while, and it's like those stresses, they pile on in a different way.
Yeah.
And because women are a little more emotional, and men tend to, men carry all that with them.
Definitely can be emotional, and at the same time, they're not expected to have those feelings. And I feel men, if they need to have a good cry or they need to let their emotions out, they need to do that.
No, we don't need to do that.
Yes, you
guys,
do.
No, look, listen.
Yes,
All we want,
you need to let it out in a way.
Yes, we want. All we want is someone to thank us once in a while. Somebody to come up and go, look, I know you're dealing with a lot, and it's going to be okay. I know you have what it takes to get through this.
And absolutely,
and I'm here for you.
As wives,
that's all we want as men.
That is our job, to be able to have our men also lean into us and have support and love that they need.
Support them when they need it.
But if she's doing, what did he say? He was saying she's
going through. She hits him with a bunch of complaints when he comes home.
Right, and I don't know.
You just have to realize the state she's in when you come home, and you have to be bigger.
The way that you communicate is key. It's really, really key. If you come home and you're expecting that barrage of complaints, and if you could just turn it around and look at it in a different way and meet her needs,
Like a challenge.
so that she can meet your needs. Because if you don't meet her needs, because obviously right now she's in a cry for help, and so are you in a way. But if you can meet her needs in a way where you're as fatherly, showing her how to behave when she's feeling at her worst and overwhelmed, then she will usually, if you treat someone a certain way, they will return that to you.
I think
you
made a good point, is that she's in a cry for help, and you're even though you may have had a hard day, you're walking into a cry for help, and you have to respond to that. That's our job as men, to respond to threats and things that are going on around us and with our family. And if our kids are hurt, or if our wife is going through something, I mean, that's our job as men, to respond to those threats.
Right. And there's research out there that men are built differently than women, obviously, right? We all know this. People may not want to acknowledge that in today's weird craziness that's going on. Women need more sleep than men. Men need less sleep than women. This is the facts. They're stronger. Men can handle certain situations better, let's just say it, better than women. So you need to just right now acknowledge that, take the accountability, and she will take accountability if you are the leader in the situation.
Yeah, if you get in there and you handle it and you become the better person, if you become that person and meet her needs, what she needs at that moment, I promise you, or I should say, what will probably happen is that the next time you need that, when you're going through something, that she'll be there for you.
100%.
And she'll be more understanding. If you guys can have these conversations, sometimes they're hard conversations, and there's some tools that she can use to come at you. So maybe start with, hey, I know you've had a hard day at work, but I'm really stressed about how the kids are acting right now, or
I'm really tired. I didn't get sleep.
I'm tired. I got up early and I didn't get a lot of sleep last night because I went to bed late because of this, that, or the other. And if you could just help me with this, if you could help me with that, I'd be so grateful if you could do that for me.
And also remember, you guys are a team, and don't. I know for some women, like, I'll help you is like a trigger word when they're like already like, it's your kids too.
What? Did I say something wrong?
No.
I'll help you.
Kind of. Well,
I said to you.
I know, and I understand it, but I know for some women, it's a trigger.
Am I triggering you?
You're not triggering me, but I know it to trigger some women out there, especially when they've been introduced to motherhood for the first time. What do you mean that you're helping me? They're your kids. You're not babysitting. You're their father. And the stuff around the house, when you were single, bro, you did your own laundry, you did all this stuff. Look at me. I haven't brushed my hair in 7 days. I haven't brushed my teeth in 3 days. I'm not saying me, but I'm just saying from a woman's perspective, do you not look at me? Like, I haven't done my makeup in whatever it is.
Watch the landmines,
Let's just
guys.
look at your wife, and you'll see like her body language. Is she taking care of herself right now? You will see if she's struggling. You'll be able to tell. Run your hands
be prepared,
through her
guys,
hair.
because whatever you say, the first
on?
thing that comes out of your mouth might not be right.
Oh dear.
Be prepared to take some shrapnel, okay? Because that typically happens. I know you're trying to do your best.
You guys love each other. You guys married each other because
why are you here? You're on a journey together.
Yes. And also, after that, we need to start figuring out how we can, because it sounds like you are working on the weekends. You are working overtime. How can you explore practical strategies on how to manage your workload? Is there anything you can delegate out? Is there any way you could set boundaries? Do you need to be reading all your emails? Can you delegate that out? Because that's timely. That's a lot of time. If you may not be strategizing your business the way that you should, and I think we all as entrepreneurs figure that out later. We're putting a lot of time. Are you micromanaging? Are you a workaholic? These are things that we just have to be honest. It's not a big deal. I remember I was a workaholic. You were a workaholic. There's a lot of things that we do differently now. And once you become a father, a mother, things need to be even better managed.
Yeah, well, here's the thing is that there's a lot of times us guys will, because if the relationship isn't good at home, you'll find yourself finding things to do at the office.
Oh, yeah.
So check yourself, guys. There's a lot of guys out there, and I've done it too.
Yeah, especially with the language and the email. No shade, but if I was getting torn apart when I go home, I may want to avoid that. But then you're just making the fire bigger.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, Dan and I and the kids, we pray for our listeners every day. Before each podcast, we pray, may we please say the right things. We understand everybody's going through it, and everybody is going through something different. Now, also, this may sound silly. It may not. Start praying over your spouse, because when you start thinking negatively about, you start using those negative, complaining, she's always whining, or whatever those
prophecy.
Words, you are actually giving life to that. Think of, I want my loving husband to see this, that, and the other. I want to give them life in this, that, or the other area. You know the prayer that you need to pray, and stop using the negative words. We've all done it. Or if we haven't said it, we've thought it. So let's really be conscious about that, and let's start praying words of power, of beauty, of love over our spouse, over our children, over our family, over our home. This is a must, and I encourage everybody to do it.
Yeah, we're all going to have disagreements, guys. And it's just about communication. It really is. It's about seeing each other's side and having that communication, that open communication where you discuss the things that you're weighing on you. Because when you don't speak about it, when you don't have those hard conversations, then they well up inside of you.
And there's no way to rebuild.
They come out in a bad way.
Right. And then also, as a result, one of the most important things that you need to do now that you're in this situation, obviously take accountability, both of you, repair, do what you can to help each other. Let her lean into you. Let her feminine come out. She's in a different place. We weren't born mothers, but with that first breath of that baby, we become mothers and fathers, and it's a different life. It's a harder life, but it's the most blessed life. I know none of us would trade it for anything, but just remember that we're both, as mothers and fathers, going into this different life, and we're going to have to rebuild trust for both of us on both of our ends, and regain and indulge in whatever the word is, but we need to get the intimacy back, the love. And I think the prayer, and I think just seeing the person that you love in a different light. Don't take it as negative. They're going through something. It's just a season.
I think that if you try some of these, John, I know we didn't have all the information. We didn't know how many kids you have, what exactly you were going through. We're not there. It'd been nice to speak with you. But I think if you use some of these tools, just come home and decide you're going to be the bigger person. You're going to be the person to fix this thing. Mm-hmm. Let your wife know that you got this handled. That's what men do, is that we come into a situation and we handle it. That's what we do.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's what you're doing at the office. I'm sure there's times where you've done it before, but find a way to do it when you come home and you're receiving this situation. find a way to come into that situation and say, I'm going to handle this. I'm going to step up and I'm going to be that person. Make it a challenge for yourself. Make it a challenge to make your wife fall into you, to feel like you've got this handled, to feel like you're Superman, like you've taken care of it.
That's really good. And challenge yourself to engage and turn this into a meaningful conversation where you're both seen and expressing the affection and appreciation for each other. If you do it, you're gonna get that back. I really, truly believe that you're gonna get it back. And it's essential for both parties to feel valued and supported and loved within the relationship. And I know you can get that back. It's gonna take work. Just like your business, it's gonna take work on both of your ends.
100%. I know there's other people who are going through the same type of stuff.
Yeah.
And we've gone through it. We've dealt with this same type of stuff. So I know that there's somebody out there that heard this that got something from what you're going through, John. I really appreciate you sharing your struggle and what you're dealing with. But we know that if you give yourself to this, you will get through it. And I hope that helped. And if you know anybody who could use this message, we hope that you can share this with them and it helps them get through what they're going through.
Yeah, you guys aren't alone. Everybody's going through some kind of juggle. It's the juggle, the struggle, the juggle, and the wins.
And you guys are all winners and you're going to get through this.
Yes.
Marriage is not easy, guys.
But it takes work. And it's wonderful.
And it's worth it.
Amazing. God bless you all. Thank you for tuning in this week. We love you.
And we'll see you guys next week.
If you guys haven't subscribed to the Pretty and Punk podcast, make sure to. Because if you do, you'll get some more upcoming videos. And we would love for you to listen to them so they can change your life. And if this one inspired you, share it with someone you love. God bless. I hope you enjoyed listening to the podcast today. We really enjoyed having you at Pretty and Punk Podcast. See you next week.